Well, in case you didn't realize, President Obama and Mitt Romney, not the only candidates for president on the ballot yesterday. Third-party candidate Gary Johnson, he made it on 48 state ballots as well as D.C. He appeared on The Daily Show to talk about it. Here's what he said.
Libertarian, very interesting because Democrats and Republicans both seem to agree with half of it.
Yeah.
But the opposite halves.
No, I got
it. It's like
it.
one of those friendship necklaces that has like the half. And each one has a half, and if they put it together, oh my God, a libertarian.
Well, I think so. The notion that most people in this country are fiscally responsible, socially tolerant, I'm in that group.
It turns out that Johnson actually picked up 1% of the vote on Election Day. That is about 1,147,000 votes. Gary Johnson, he's joining us from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Good to see you. You were the Republican governor of New Mexico for 2 terms, ran as a Libertarian for president this go-round. You probably just heard the interview that we saw that Wolf did with Van Jones, the Democrat on the left, Mary Madeline on the right, and still some bitterness, some contention over this race, a divided country. How do these two parties, what do these two parties do to get something done and to put away some of the vitriol?
Well, how about the notion of coming together? Romney, not as conservative on dollars and cents as Republicans would like, but when it comes to the social agenda, and I'm talking now about Romney and Republicans, I think for the most part it scares people. And then Democrats, you know what? They could be a lot better on civil liberties, and they could acknowledge that there have to be some cuts that really do have to take place. So it really is combining the best of both worlds. It's reflective. It needs to be reflective of the majority of Americans, which really are fiscally responsible and socially accepting, which I think there's an opportunity here. Look, let's stop the wars. Let's stop with the military interventions. Let's stop the growing police state. And then let's stop what is unsustainable spending, which is both parties that need to come together. Like I say, I just think that's more reflective of Americans than either of the two parties are.
So, Gary, do you think that's an opening for you and other third-party candidates? Do you think that's the role that you play here? Does it underscore your importance of being in this contest?
Well, during this contest, I was really kind of taken aback. I thought we would have done a lot better. I think that I think maybe one of the analysis here is that people really did buy into the notion that their votes counted and that everybody needed to go vote for, if you will, the lesser of two evils. But that's gone by the wayside. Now we do need to move forward. And moving forward, look, we've got some really important issues in this country that start with cutting spending, lest we have a monetary collapse. Let's stop with the military interventions, which also add to that spending. And then we do have a growing police state in this country. I was really heartened by the fact that yesterday Colorado passed Initiative 64, something that I think most Republicans right now would still vote to make criminal penalty. Yeah, marijuana use, that Republicans, for the most part, I think, would still like to enhance criminal penalties in lieu of rolling them back. And Colorado spoke very clearly. I think that regulating marijuana like alcohol, I think it's going to change worldwide drug policy when we wake up tomorrow and realize that the world is a better place when police can actually go out and enforce real crime. Coloradans get it. Six years ago, citizens of Denver voted to decriminalize marijuana on a campaign based on marijuana being safer than alcohol. But I just get back to the social issues that Republicans scare the world with, and spending that Democrats scare the world with.
We noticed.
How about each side back off a little bit?
We noticed it was Colorado and Washington State, both of them, who did approve those ballot initiatives in legalizing marijuana use. When you say the social issues that scare people, what are you talking about specifically? Are you talking about some of those members of Congress who were making comments about rape and abortion and linking it to, in those terms? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, women's rights, immigration. Look, immigration's a good thing. It's something that's value added, and it's something that does need to be addressed. Marriage equality. Look, I think it's a constitutionally guaranteed right. But how about the notion of giving a little bit on these issues, or holding your own personal conviction, but don't make these convictions government policy? Lest people not vote for you. I mean, that's the bottom line. I think that people are scared off by Republicans' social agenda. And then when it comes to Romney, and I'm just going to get at the root cause of why I don't think he was elected, you know what? He really wasn't talking a different game than it came to Obama when it came to spending. During the last debate with Ryan and Biden.
Gary, a real quick question here. Why do you suppose, just real quickly here, why do you suppose you were hoping for 5%, you got 1%, and you're trying to compromise, bring these two parties in some sort of moderate stance? Why is not the third party candidate, your candidacy, gaining more traction?
Really a disappointment and a surprise. I mean, historically, polling really evaporates. Historically, third-party votes evaporate at the very end, and I saw that same phenomenon. And it very disappointing. I can only chalk it up to the fact that people really took to heart the fact that their vote was going to count, and, lesser of two evils as opposed to... There's a lot more support out there for what I'm saying than I think was reflected in votes.
All right. Gary Johnson, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Great. Hey, thank you very much for having me on.
Sure.